People's Progressive Party Civic Executive Member Clement Rohee explained that nothing of such magnitude which occurred in the past 2 years in relation to the prisons ever happened under the previous administration, even though it was faced with similar challenges.
Overcrowding is nothing new. It has been with us from time immemorial. When we got into the government in 92, the prison was overcrowded. For the years we were in government, the prisons remain overcrowded. And the AP and UFC came into the government inheriting an overcrowded prison. The difference was, however, that we had put mechanisms in place to deal with, not through brute force and ignorance, but we had put measures and mechanisms in place to deal with attendant problems and challenges that we know could arise in a prison which had a huge amount of overcrowding in the different locations.
Rohee was very critical of the administration's management of the prison system, chastising them for not putting measures in place to deal with the challenges in the prisons. He indicated at a recent news conference that the authorities should adopt approaches to deal with possible situations that could arise from the overburdened prison system.
We made sure that the parole board, under Justice Small, I think, was active, was fully constituted and active, and was meeting on a regular basis. And was being supported by the then administration. That's number one. Number two, on every occasion, let's say national holidays, Christmas periods, etc., the prisons would bring to the administration a list requesting remissions for prisoners, and these remissions would be for prisoners who would have been well behaved and performing tasks in the prison and outside the prison in a manner that, in the view of the prison authorities, was orderly and good behavior. So, and those periods of remission would be like a week.
He said inmates convicted for rape, murder, and domestic abuse would never be granted remissions. Under the leadership of Public Security Minister Kemraj Ramjatan, several prisoners were granted remissions in a hasty manner to ease the overcrowding after the fire and jailbreak. Rohee also said a series of internal institutional arrangements were put in place, including a sentence management board.
Let's say in a population of 1,000 prisoners, you might have in that 1,000 prisoners 50 who may be masons, 100 who may be carpenters, 10 who may be mechanics, or whatever the case may be. So you have a skills data entry bank, so that at any given point in time that you need such skills, you know where to go and who to go to drawdown on them. And then, of course, management of the sentences, making sure that they attend, let's say, classes to upgrade their literacy and numeracy skills.
The former Home Affairs Minister criticized the government for not continuing with these measures.
Many of these bodies were made up of civilians who played an important role in helping the prison authorities to manage the prison, so that you had the management of the prisons, you had the prisoners themselves involved in different levels of the prisons, whatever the location might be. And that helped to a large extent to take some of the pressure, number one, of the prison officers, and number two, of the prisoners, because they had so many other opportunities. You see, if you inherit a system where you have such huge overcrowding, you don't sit on your hands and ask yourself, what am I to do? You have to work with what you have.
Davina Samaru, Newsroom.